Let's change gears just for a minute. You kind of hit on something that I wanted to come back to it, and now I'm going to come back to it.
Okay.
It's about interviewing. You said there's an interview process.
Sure.
Whether you want to utilize, I'll give you a couple choices to answer this following question. But again, going back to what I think is most important to the audience, the students and the grad students that are now entering in the sports industry, or they want to, they're always asking, how can I creatively be noticed or be seen, but without be overinflating that. An interview process, it is a little bit of a two-way dance. You've got to get some credentials that are going to get you the interview. What did either you do that really helped separate yourself from the competition, other applicants that were in line? Or maybe you can share a story of someone that you've interviewed here that you said, hey, that person really raised my eyebrows by what they did. They separated themselves somehow, whether it was just their interview style, they did something creative. How would you like to answer that question? I'll give you both choices, or if you want to just take one, it'd be great.
I can do both, actually. I think, especially if you're going for a marketing job, the product you know the best is yourself. So you should be able to understand that I'm marketing me to you. I'm trying to sell you on me. So if you walk in with, here's my Microsoft Word resume, like, come on, really? Like, that's what you're going to go and do as a graphic designer? Is that what you're going to go and do as a marketer? You've got to go and think differently. And so, your resume, and this is just the way that I've done things. I'm talking with some of the other creatives here. I know they appreciate this. Some people don't. Some people say, just give me that one sheet on Microsoft Word. That's fine. But what I've really found is, do you have a packet? Do you have a book? Do you have something that you're delivering to people? Do you have a leave behind? Do you have something that makes you stand out? And so, for example, when I did my resume, 6 years ago, it was a full packet, and it was almost like a brochure that I'm dropping off of, this is who Dan Harbison is, and this is why you should go and hire him, with testimonials and whatnot. You're looking at now of LinkedIn of being a very similar situation of it being able to have testimonials in there, but have your own website. Like I said, have a digital presence of being able to go beyond of showcasing who you are. And so that's something that if you're going in for a job, let's say at a company, do your research on that company, know that company, and let the people know that you know that company. So nothing pains me more is when I see our name spelled with one word, Trailblazers. It's Trailblazers. Spell it right. Spell the person's name right if you're having a cover letter. Make sure you leave. Always send in a thank you card each round of your interviews. If you do a panel interview, write down who the people are in your panel interview. Send them thank you cards. You would not believe the amount of interviews I've been in for other positions here at the company that people just don't leave thank you cards. It goes such a long way. But like I said, remember, if you're going for a marketing position, market yourself. Understand that you are the product, and nobody knows you better than you. And if you need outside help, sometimes it's very hard for people to write their own biography. You're going to be shy. You're like, well, that's not important. Have someone else work with you and write your biography with you, or write your cover letter, or write some of the nuances about yourself.
That's a great tip right there, yeah.
Because they'll be able to go, oh, really? Yeah. Remember, you were the captain of the, and you're like, oh, I would have never thought about putting captain. It's like, well, it shows leadership. Put that in there, And for your resume, like I said, be creative with it, but also don't put in just extraneous stuff that is unnecessary. Pick and choose, because there's so many hours in the day. Like I said, that's one of the things that I have is, time is of the essence. I'm not going to flip through a 3-page thing talking about how you're a lifeguard at the local pool.
What about in this? I'm just going to give a personal example. Maybe you have something that would fall in line with this. But having the NFL background that I do, I've seen someone graphically design their resume on an NFL football and send it, via overnight and say, "Hey, did you catch my pass?" It was a really creative approach, and that was, I think, prior to the interview. There's always that step where people want to be noticed, they want to be seen, they want to do it tactfully and professionally. But this is, either just before the interview, anything that someone's done to you, or that maybe you've done yourself that's helped, with your awareness and your brand prior to the interview, that really is going to catch someone's eye. That's hey, in today's click and send world, you're just you're going to be on a stack, and we don't want people to be on a stack. We want them to rise above it somehow, but being in line. What are your thoughts about that?
The football idea is great, and one of the things that
can't do it in golf. That'd be trouble.
It'd be hard, with the pebbles. Maybe with a golf club or something. But tees. You could do something with tees. tee off, I'm ready to tee off
Right.
with your company or something, with a little box. One of the things that we do here, we pride ourselves when we try to get guys in the All-Star game or we try to get guys as an award, we pride ourselves in sending stuff out to the media and do media packets differently. So we did the iRoy, which was an iPod, and it was really interesting on how we put all of his highlights on the in the iRoy, which was an iPod, would have video on it, and did the full package, and it really got noticed, got talked about by Jim Rome and all these different guys on ESPN. You're not saying you should go and take it to that step, but because that's be rather expensive. But I think that if you are being creative, I think that does take you to the next step. So like I said, I created the brochure or whatnot. What I'd probably end up doing would be, if I'm going for something digital, create a website. Crank out a website, and you could go and forward the link and make sure. For $10 you can register a domain, have that unique domain. Hire Dan.com or DanShouldBeATrailblazer.com or something like that. Mm-hmm. And when they go to the site, have something that's someone engaging, something that's kind of interesting.
Okay.
So that would be a different idea. I haven't seen a ton of resumes come through that have been that good, to tell you the truth.
Right.
A couple of the people who I have hired, I've looked at some of their past, especially the designers that we've had. I've looked at their past work and been very impressed by what they've done. And that's one of the reasons why they've gotten their job, is because of, wow, you did some really cool work for here and here. And some of that stuff was just for a portfolio they did for school.
Right.
And then some of the stuff for the writing, guys who are doing stories, I was very impressed by their stories they wrote.